Ronke swam to the shore of a different city far away from Akete, with her infant placed in a basket and a heart seared with deep sorrow. She sent the baby away and swam away to hide and watch. The next day in class, as Lucy sat, teaching others and helping with assignments as usual, Anne brought out the special mirror and strategically positioned it so she could watch Lucy's reflection through the mirror. Immediately, her eyes widened in horror. What she saw caught her breath in her throat. Lucy was not what everyone thought she was. The village of Akete lay shrouded in icy darkness as Ronke, trembling and bound, sat in the king's boat. Her swollen belly pressed against her restraints, her heart pounding like the restless river beneath her. The accusations of theft, of stealing the king's gold, had sealed her fate, and the guards' steely resolve offered no reprieve. "Please," she begged, her voice trembling, "I am innocent. For the sake of my child, show mercy." The leader of the guards sneered, his voice sharp as a blade. "Silence! No thief, born or unborn, escapes the king's justice." With a barked order, the sentence was given: drown her. As the guards advanced, despair tightened its grip on Ronke. Her gaze turned to the dark, unyielding waters, and in a desperate whisper she uttered a plea: "If there is any power in these waters, save me and my child." Before the guards could toss her into the depths, Ronke made a choice. She leapt into the frigid embrace of the river, its icy fingers dragging her down. The world blurred into darkness as she sank, her final breaths slipping away, until a vision pierced through the void. A shimmering mermaid emerged, her presence otherworldly. Her voice, melodic yet commanding, resonated through the waters. "Your plea has reached us," she said. "You are innocent, but salvation comes at a cost. To save you, you must live as one of us, abandoning your human memories and the child you carry." Ronke's tears mingled with the sea. "Will my child be safe?" she whispered, clinging to hope. The mermaid's gaze softened. "Yes, but you must never seek them." With a heavy heart, Ronke accepted the terms. In that moment, her transformation began. Scales replaced Ronke's skin, her legs replaced by a glittering tail, her memories fading like waves against the shore. Under the dark, still ocean, in the arms of the mermaids, Ronke had her baby. Days later, after giving birth, Ronke swam to the shore of a different city far away from Akete, with her infant placed in a basket and a heart seared with deep sorrow. She sent the baby away and swam away to hide and watch. Some hours later, on the misty shore of the bustling city, a basket swayed gently in the tide. Inside lay a baby girl, her small face framed by tufts of red hair. A wealthy woman, Mrs. Aja, who sat at the riverbank crying, stumbled upon the bundle. Known in the city for her riches but also for her barrenness, she froze in disbelief. "A child," she murmured, cradling the baby. Tears filled her eyes as she whispered, "You are a gift from the gods." She named the girl Lucy and carried her home. As Mrs. Aja left the river, Ronke watched as her baby was being carried away. Her tears fell freely, and her heart was hit with a pang of pain. "Be well, my child," Ronke said finally before returning to the bottom of the ocean. In the city, Mrs. Aja quickly began taking care of the redhead baby girl, her new child. But one faithful evening, Mrs. Aja discovered something in the child she had never seen before. Her heart raced with fear, her eyes beamed with surprise. Lucy wasn't just an ordinary child. Questions and fear quickly began to run through Mrs. Aja's mind after laying Lucy to sleep. Was this her sign? Is she supposed to abandon the child and return her back to the river where she had picked her from because of what she had seen? All these and more plagued Mrs. Aja's mind, but she wasn't ready to go back to being childless again. "I will keep her," she thought to herself, "and have faith in this child. Whatever happens tomorrow, I will bear the consequence." And so, Mrs. Aja decided to keep Lucy. Lucy grew up showered with love and luxury. Her striking red hair and ethereal beauty, a source of both wonder and envy. Her luminous red eyes and radiant smile enchanted everyone. But at the age of 3, one faithful night, Lucy noticed her feet grow into something else. Lucy's feet suddenly began to transform. Her foot became webbed like fins, its scent reminiscent of the sea. That night, Lucy screamed out aloud as she saw her feet transform. Mrs. Ager came rushing speedily into her room, only to meet the bizarre sight. One she had only ever had a glimpse of once, when Lucy was just a baby. In her fright, she tried to calm Lucy down. To ease her daughter's mind, Mrs. Ager lied. She told Lucy that what had happened was only temporal and that her foot would go back to normal again. With this, Lucy's panic deflated. She went back to sleep believing her mother's words. But the opposite was the case by morning and every other day, when Lucy's feet never became normal again. Mrs. Ager knew of Lucy's secret, but decided to shield her child and hide away this secret from everyone. She never wanted to lose Lucy, the only child she could ever have, and so she pretended not to question the mysterious things happening around the redhead child and the mystery behind her birth. She would make Lucy wear giant shoes before sending Lucy off to school. But the world outside was cruel. Whenever Lucy stepped into her class, the children would cover their nose because of a fish-like smell coming from Lucy. They would mock her for having enormous foot. When Lucy walked on the streets, adults whispered behind her back. "She's cursed," they would say. But Mrs. Ager fiercely protected Lucy. One faithful afternoon, Lucy's class teacher, Miss Susie, came visiting at Lucy's home. "Mrs. Ager," she said with great concern, her brows furrowed and her tone masked with judgment. "Mrs. Ager, you have to check this your child Lucy. Whenever she walks into the classroom, the entire class starts smelling of fish, and it's making the other children uncomfortable. Something is terribly wrong with your Lucy, and I want to throw up any time she's around." Mrs. Ager looked at Lucy's teacher in shock and irritation. "She irritates you, you said, right?" Mrs. Ager asked sternly. "Yes, and the other children in the class." Miss Susie replied, "Okay, wait here for me, I'm coming," Mrs. Ager said, and got up to leave the sitting room. Returning back with a bucket of water, Mrs. Ager emptied the bucket on Miss Susie and ordered her to leave her house immediately. But Lucy was at the corner listening to all their conversations, and her heart broke at the things her class teacher had said about her. She would cry herself to sleep, pondering sadly on why she was different from others, why she didn't have a normal feet, and why part of her body was fish. In a bid to protect Lucy, Mrs. Ager withdrew her from school and the outside world at large, homeschooling her and crafting elaborate lies to hide the truth. But Lucy's questions grew with her years. "Why don't my friends have feet like mine, Mama? Why don't I have a foot like you? Your feet is not like mine," Lucy would ask her mother with teary eyes. But Mrs. Ager avoided the truth, terrified that the mysterious origins of Lucy might one day tear her away. At first, Mrs. Ager would dismiss Lucy's fish foot as a unique trait. "Some people are born different," she would always tell Lucy when the child asked why her friends teased her and why everyone called her cursed. "You are special, my darling. You are different, not weird, but your friends and others don't know that, and you see, my dear child, what people do not know they fear. Being different is your superpower, my sweet Lucy. It's not a curse, and you are not cursed," Mrs. Ager would say to calm Lucy's mind. But despite all these, deep down, even at her tender age, Lucy knew there were questions that needed answers. Her mother's legs were normal. She knew something was wrong with her and prayed to grow up quickly so she could find answers herself and perhaps get rid of these horrible looking and smelly legs of hers. What Lucy couldn't have foreseen was that the shadows of her future held more horrors she was utterly unprepared to face, things that would twist her reality and haunt her in ways she could never imagine. Meanwhile, far beneath the waves, Ronki's dreams were filled with a girl's laughter, a haunting melody that stirred feelings she couldn't name. But her best friend, Sonia, who had been assigned by the Queen Mother to ensure Ronka doesn't get her memories back, would tell Ronke lies to make sure she never realizes who she once used to be or the child she had born, a little girl, now lost far beyond the shores. Back in the bustling city at 16, Lucy convinced her mother to let her attend Santa Maria High School. She was tired of being locked away at home all her life, and so she pleaded with her mother to allow her go to a public school, even if it was just to complete her final year. Mrs. Ager agreed, and they both found a way to hide Lucy's secret. Before Lucy left for school that morning, she poured camphor into her shoes in order to mask the fish smell that oozed from her feet, locked in a tight, huge sandal. And with this, Lucy was ready to go into the world. On her first day at school, Lucy seemed to bind the entire school under a spell with her beauty. She effortlessly became the center of attention to both students and teachers alike. But despite the facade of beauty and glamour, it didn't take long before others began to notice that Lucy was beautiful but flawed because of her big foot. Still, Lucy tried to hold her head high and not be swayed by onlookers, who she wasn't sure stared at her for her beauty or for the one part of her body that was evidently abnormal. She was just happy and excited to finally be able to attend school like other normal kids. Over the months, Lucy excelled in her studies, her intelligence overshadowing even the brightest students, including Anne, a proud and ruthless classmate who was now relegated from top student to second position in the entire school because of Lucy. All the teachers loved Lucy. They praised and were in awe of her. Lucy's sharp wit, her brilliance, her neatness, her beauty, everything stood out. Lucy was always respectful to all her teachers. She won all the school's competition in the senior classes and made the school proud. Lucy was kind and always willing to teach and help others with their studies and in any area of difficulty. Lucy had so much power that it seemed like she was the only student in the class sometimes. The overshadowing became unbearable for Anne and others who saw Lucy as an unbeatable competition. The final exam was approaching, and it was a law of the school that the best graduating student becomes the school's valedictorian and would be awarded a scholarship for college. This had been Anne's dream since junior secondary school. Her parents had dragged her ears to tell her she had to get the scholarship, else there wasn't going to be college for Anne. Her life depended on that scholarship, and now here came Lucy, stealing her dreams right in front of her eyes. Anne seethed with envy. "She thinks she's better than me," she hissed to herself in class one day.
"We'll see about that. I will be this year's valedictorian, and I'm taking that scholarship, and nothing will stop me."
And so, Anne plotted to expose Lucy's secret. She was going to do anything to bring Lucy down. She knew deep down Lucy could not be as perfect as the teachers always praised her to be. "She's flawed, but people can't see that," Anne thought to herself. "I know she's hiding something. Whatever it is, it's her weakness, and that's what I'll use to dismantle her. I will expose her on the morning of our final exams. That way she won't be able to concentrate on her papers. She will be disoriented and fail. Then I'll be the valedictorian for our final year." Anne's eyes widened in excitement, as though she just experienced a light bulb moment. She went ahead and orchestrated a cruel plan. Anne made her way to the school's notice board to confirm the date for their maths exam, and with this, she was ready to strike. Anne's mother happened to be a medicine woman who dealt in black magic and sorcery. And so Anne went home and scrambled within all her mother's things, and there she found the special mirror. This mirror wasn't like any other. It had a special ability to show the reflection of one's true self if gazed into. This was Anne's weapon, and this was going to be Lucy's downfall. The next day in class, as Lucy sat, teaching others and helping with assignments as usual, Anne brought out the special mirror and strategically positioned it so she could watch Lucy's reflection through the mirror. Immediately, her eyes widened in horror. What she saw caught her breath in her throat. Lucy was not what everyone thought she was. "I knew it," Anne muttered to herself. "She couldn't be human. She's too perfect to be an ordinary human being. She has been hiding something. She's a witch." A smile creeped across Anne's face as she said to herself, "I will expose it all." Knowing the power she now wielded over Lucy's life and reputation, Anne was ready to strike.
She returned home and gave her mum the mirror to perform some incantations to make it more potent and powerful enough to do exactly what she wanted.
Meanwhile, Lucy at home, unaware of the sinister plot that was being laid against her in school, sat all night in preparation for the maths exam the next morning. Lucy was never really concerned about becoming the school's valedictorian or not. She was content with just being in school like every other normal child, and that was enough for her. Her love for education and studying had pushed her to the forefront, and she had a light within that could not help but shine wherever she went. Little did Lucy know that her existence alone was a problem to a lot of people who envied her. A lot of people, especially Anne. On the Monday morning of the exam week, Lucy walked into the school hall. Unknown to her that Anne had set a trap. Anne placed the mysterious mirror on the locker, knowing Lucy would walk that path on her way to class.
Anne had gathered the entire school at the school's corridor so everyone could behold Lucy's shame when it was finally revealed. She was able to convince everyone that they were all in danger and they needed to see what Lucy truly was underneath her skin before it would be too late for the entire school. Everyone was gathered at the school's corridor. And as Lucy got in front of the mirror, she immediately transformed into her true nature. The entire hall suddenly gasped in shock. "A fish!" one student screamed, pointing frantically at Lucy. Everyone was staring in shock, both teachers and students alike. Lucy was confused. She had no idea what was going on and why everyone stared at her in fright. But as she turned to the left, she beheld her new appearance in the mirror hung on the locker. Her true nature was being exposed, and it wasn't just her foot. She was now half fish and half human. The entire hall burst with screams of fright and scorn. "A beast! She's a beast!" "I told you, we have a beast in our midst, walking among us like a human. Her name is Lucy," Anne screamed angrily, pointing at Lucy with scorn in her voice. "Get her before she escapes," one of the teachers screamed. Overwhelmed with fear, Lucy ran from the crowd and fled beyond the school's gate. Tears streamed down her face. She fled to the riverside, collapsing at the edge, as though something had called her there. "Why am I like this?" she cried. "Who am I?" That day, Lucy did not return home. She kept screaming to the waters, "Why am I a human and a fish? What do you want from me? Come and take your legs. Come and take your fins. I don't want it. I just want to be normal. I don't want to be different anymore." At school, Anne rejoiced. A sinister grin etched on her face. Her plan was successful, and she had finally gotten rid of Lucy for good. The exam was held that day, and Lucy was nowhere to be found. Evening had fallen that faithful day. The ocean had heard the cries of a girl at the shore. Sonia swam to the seashore and sighted a beautiful girl crying. She knew immediately that that child belonged to the waters, and she was Ronke's daughter, the one who had been sent away into the world. She saw her sorrow from a distance and her torment, and finally decided to confess the truth and help Ronke meet with her daughter one last time. Not minding the Queen Mother's wrath, Sonia swam back to their kingdom. "Ronke," Sonia said gently, "the child in your dreams has come to look for you. She's your daughter." Ronke's heart ached with the weight of forgotten love. "I have a child. Where is she?" "She's on the shore," Sonia said. "I'll take you to her." With this revelation, in a split second, all that had happened on the night Ronke gave herself up to the sea came rushing in like a flood back into Ronke's mind. Her memory was back, and she knew who she was. Together, the two mermaids swam to the shore, where they found Lucy weeping by the river. Ronke approached cautiously, her voice trembling. "Child, why do you cry?" Lucy looked up, startled by the mermaid's presence. "Who are you?" Ronke knelt by the water's edge, her tears mingling with the waves. "I am your mother." Lucy listened as Ronke shared the tale of her sacrifice. "I gave up everything to keep you safe," Ronke said. "And though I can never stay with you, I can grant you one wish." Lucy's heart swelled with emotion. "Mrs. Ager is not my mother?" Lucy asked in a fright. "Why then did you give me away?" "Take me back then," "Let me be like you," she said. "Let me stay where I belong, in the ocean. I do not want to continue to live this cursed life as a human," Lucy pleaded earnestly. But Ronka smiled sadly. "That is not within my power to do, but I can make you whole." She touched Lucy's feet, and the scales all over her body melted away, leaving smooth human skin. "You are free now," Ronka said. "Live your life as it was meant to be, but if you ever need me, come here to the river and call out my new name, Aye, Aye. Your child is here, and perhaps I will hear, and I will remember you again." The two embraced, their tears flowing freely. "But mother," Lucy said in tears, "it's over for me. My enemies, they have won against me already. By now it's already too late." Ronka smiled at Lucy. "Thank goodness you have a powerful mother." She snapped her fingers and smiled at Lucy. "Everything would be fine now. You can go back to the world, and I will always be with you."
Ronke watched as her daughter left her for the second time. As Lucy walked away with tear-filled eyes, she turned once more to look at her mother, who waved at her with a smile masked in a mixture of joy and pain. "Thank you," Lucy said to her mother. And with the final wave of her hand, Ronke disappeared into the waves, never to be seen again. When Lucy returned to school, she found herself back at the start of the exam week. Time itself had rewound, undoing Anne's treachery. Lucy understood what was happening. She knew it was the snapping of the fingers and the doings of her water mother. Lucy stepped boldly into the school corridor, the enchanted mirror now powerless to harm her. The trap failed, and her reflection revealed her to be a complete human. Anne's plan did not work, and she was humiliated by her failed scheme. "But I know what I saw. She's a witch. She's not human," Anne screamed, as everyone, all the people gathered in the corridor, stared at her weird. There was no roar in the school corridor that day, no frenzy, and Lucy went on to write her math paper in peace up until the final exams were over. Anne ended up being dismantled and disoriented. She was unable to focus and ended up failing all her final papers instead of Lucy. And the very trap she had set for Lucy to fall into became the very event that led Lucy to her freedom. Lucy excelled in the exams, earning the title of valedictorian. On the graduation day, Mrs. Ager sat proudly among the crowd of proud parents and students, as Lucy was honored and recognized for her hard work and diligence. Mrs. Ager beamed with pride, tears streaming down her face. Far off in the ocean, Ronke listened to the faint echo of Lucy's voice as she gave her valedictorian speech, her heart filled with both sorrow and joy. Sometimes Lucy returns to the river calling out, "Ia, Ia, your child is here." And though the river remained silent and Ronke never came, Lucy never stopped hoping that maybe someday her mother would hear her voice and swim to the surface of the waters to see her again. The lesson to be learnt from the story is never fail to clap for others when you see them doing well, because in the same vein, others will also clap for you when your time comes. Remember, the pit you dig up for others might be the very one you fall into, so let us lead this life with love and contentment. That way, we all win. Thank you so much for watching. Please do not forget to leave a comment, like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more stories. Until we meet again, stay blessed, and I'll see you in my next story.